Hello chess friends and welcome to your Out of Chess channel and welcome to a spectacular tournament that started a couple of days ago. Welcome to the US Chess Championship in 2023 that's going on now in the beautiful St. Louis Chess Club. So we have here many great players that are battling it out for the throne of the US Chess Championship. Among them, of course, the top GMs like Fabiano Caruana, Vasily So, Levin Ronyan, Dominguez Perez Liner. Also, for instance, Hans Moke Niemann is playing in this beautiful event. Among them also one of the maybe future world champions in chess, Abhimanyu Mishra, who I think has here very great opportunities to make something to happen, because in the first two games he played a draw and he won one game, which gave him also many rating points. And today Abhimanyu Mishra in the round 3 had a huge opportunity against Ray Robson with a potential win to break the 2600 rating mark, which was, I think, a huge motivation for him, because if he wins now today, then as I said, he's a 2600 rated player with only 14 years old, which is really crazy when you think about it harder. But of course, Abhimanyu Mishra, we know, became the youngest grandmaster of all times, which is also a huge accomplishment. So let's see now what happened in the spectacular game between Ray Robson and Abhimanyu Mishra. Pay good attention. In my opinion, it was also the game of the tournament so far. Very great game they played. So let's see now what happened with the white pieces. Ray Robson opened with the move d4. We have d5 by Abhimanyu Mishra, c4, the Queen's Gambit Slav defense with c6, knight to f3, knight to f6, knight to c3, knight variation. Now we have the semi-Slav structure with the move e6, and now here Ray Robson spices it up immediately with this Catalan preparation with the move g3, followed with bishop to g2, creating, of course, immediately madness all over the board. Rather than maybe to go into exchange semi-Slav structures, leads into more static positions. Also, the quiet variations with move e3 have been played many times without I think so many complications in the early stage of the game. But here, as I said, Ray Robson spiced it up immediately with the beautiful Catalan setup. Here, Abhimanyu Mishra, the young prodigy, says, show me what you got, let's go into the open battle. Plays now d takes c4. We have bishop to g2, knight from b to d7, kingside castling, and now b5. Ray Robson, of course, occupies now the center, has now these two powerful mobile pawns in the center of the board. That's the main idea about this gambit, to deflect this d pawn to the c4 square, and then you have a powerful central control. If you try here something like b5, it wouldn't be so good. Then after a couple of trades of pieces here, black is continuing then the game with the messed up pawn structure. I think white will exploit these weaknesses on the long diagonal. c4 is weak, c6 is weak, king is stuck in the center. Even if you castle, you have already a weakened structure in front of the king. So this is a line that I think not so good here for black. So that's why after move e4, Abhimanyu Mishra kept it really calm here, played now the solid move bishop to b7. Now comes e5 by Ray Robson, knight to d5, and now the fun starts. Put your seatbelts on. From this point on, it becomes very spectacular tactical battle. So of course, when we are having one of our opponent's pieces on our side of the board, we don't want to tolerate it. But in order to kick it away, you have to place the move h6. And the problem about this move h6 is, of course, that you are weakening the pawn structure in front of the king. And you can guess what Ray Robson, a great tactician, is doing here. He played out the stunning knight takes e6. And it's not a novelty or something. This position has been played many times. For instance, Kramnik Anand draw, Ipatov Fedosev win by Fedosev with the black pieces. So many great players have met this position. So it's really sort of an unbalanced game, real tactical battle between now these two top GMs. So after knight to e6, of course, you have to accept the challenge. Here, Abhimanyu plays now f takes e6. But now comes the check, and you have lost now the privilege of castle. And here, Ray Robson shows, I think, that he has this line prepared well, that he knows his stuff in this line, because what he did here was the correct move order. He played first of all the move knight to e4. That's the way to go. If you play immediately bishop to g5, this move bishop to g5 has to come after move knight to e4, not before the move knight to e4. If you play bishop to g5 immediately, then after hg5 you take out the rook. But now after move knight from the 7th rank to the 6th rank here to b6, actually black can liberate now this path for the king and can get out of this mess. So that's why with the move knight to e4, you're not allowing him here to do that, because after something like queen to e8 that Abhimanyu Mishra played here, trying finally to escape with the king somehow to d8, knight to b6 now would be simply too risky, because now knight to d6 is very, very tricky. So in my opinion, not a good continuation anymore here for black. So that's why, look at this. After move queen to e8 that here Abhimanyu Mishra played, now Ray Robson plays now the move bishop to g5, still with the opportunity to jump with the knight on this beautiful d6 square. Now, of course, what we have to do is pick up now the piece. We have h takes g5, but now, of course, Ray Robson picks up now the rook on h8 here. What should we do? Here, of course, Abhimanyu Mishra is escaping. King to d8, trying king to c7, maybe even in some lines to escape to b6, but Ray Robson keeps now the pressure and plays now, of course, knight to g5. So what do you think about this position? Which position would you love to play? Black is, of course, having two minor pieces for the rook, but has now this weakened king, has also the weakened structure. What we should not forget about this position is that in some lines, white can create a passer with h4, h5, maybe to create here some kind of a pass move. So basically, black's pieces are a little bit paralyzed. Also, the e6 is a little bit weak. You see now that in the continuation of the game, Ray Robson will try to continue the pressure against his pawn on e6. So I'm not sure which position I would love to play. Both of these positions are scary to me. With the white pieces, of course, you have the initiative, but if you make a tiny little inaccurate move, I think if you don't find the ultimate attacking move, then you could face many problems, because black will reach, I think, then a favorable endgame. So it's very wild position in the early stage of the game. So here, queen to e7 by Abhimanyu Mishra, including now the queen into the defense further. Queen to h5 with the preparation to play knight to f7, also queen to g6, maybe hit here the weak pawn on e6. We have king to c7, we have queen to g6, attacking now the e6 pawn, and now here Abhimanyu Mishra got finally the rook into the game. Good coordination by black's pieces also in order to defend now the e6 weakness. We have now the move a4 here by Ray Robson, king to b8. Abhimanyu Mishra is bringing more the king in a more secure square. Now the king is perfectly fine, but still you haven't solved all of the positional problems here, especially around the square e6. g7 is weak, bishop is paralyzed by its own queen, the knights are a little bit misplaced, so it's not a good position to have the minor pieces like this. Although we have to say this knight on d5 is very powerful, creates now this blockade. It's very well fixed also in this by the structure c6 e6, so it doesn't allow here maybe white to somehow attack this diagonal with the light square bishop. So now Ray Robson plays the beautiful rook to a3. Rook lift attack is always a good choice, of course. Now we're trying to get the rook here on a beautiful square f7. a takes b5 doesn't bring you so much, because now the king is connected to the a7 square. Then, of course, after c takes b5, nothing dramatically changed, I think, in black's position. Although you don't have any more the c pawn that's protecting the knight. Now the bishop is basically also supporting the knight on d5. Nothing spectacular gained here for white. So that's why Ray Robson played now rook to a3. We have knight to c7, protecting further the weak e6 square, but also the weak b5 pawn, because now if you try a takes b5, actually black can even pick up now the pawn with the knight and also attack the backward pawn, which is also a structural weakness in white's position, the weak pawn on d4. Although you have maybe this weakened c6 c4 structure, but so far it's defendable, nothing gained, I think, or also for white. So that's why rook to f3 by Ray Robson. And now Abhimanyu Mishra plays a very interesting move, b takes a4. In the beginning it doesn't seem so that this should be something spectacular, but Abhimanyu Mishra is a great player. Abhimanyu Mishra is even world champion material for sure. With this move, I think he shows really the beauty about this position, because what he understood that with the potential c3 move in a later stage of the game, I'm not talking about attacks immediately. As I said, black has to defend this position. Black needs somehow to reach the endgame stage in order to survive. But if white, of course, makes something out of this attack, then black is destroyed. But if we reach the fully endgame stage, there is always this problem of c3, and after b takes c3, that this is a passer and it's a distant pass pawn. It's of course on the edge of the board, so no, I don't know, knights or maybe the king could come closer to the pawn, to the potential pass pawn on the a file. With this move b takes a4, which seems strange to weaken your structure like this, now we have three weaknesses. but it's really a beautiful endgame idea. Spectacular move. You see also in the continuation of the game why it was so important to play this move. Very, very epic move here by Abhimanyu Mishra. B takes A4. We have H4 here by Ray Robson. Don't forget about also here Ray Robson's opportunity. For instance, what could happen also for black as a mistake is when maybe white picks up the pawn on G7. It seems so that this pawn shouldn't be so important, but if in some lines black loses the G7 pawn, actually this one is marching. We should not forget about also white's potential endgame idea. So although this is a spectacular middle game, although this game is already exploding, we should not forget about potential endgame ideas. So white has the endgame idea to create an outside distant pass pawn on the edge of the board here on the H file. White has also opportunities to create a pass pawn on the A file. Very, very wild position. So here, queen to D8 was played by Abhimanyu Mishra, getting out of the potential attack by the rook, connecting now the pieces, keeping the pieces somehow glued together, not allowing here some counterplay by white. So here, rook to F7 by Ray Robson. This was maybe a tiny little inaccurate move. For instance, the Stockfish engine suggests something like knight to F7 here, but it becomes really pervert line. I'm not sure how many of us would even consider this move, because if you go to F7, then you have to jump on D6. I wanted to show really quickly this line, the suggested Stockfish line. It's simply too brutal. No one should play chess like this. No one should know how to play chess like this, but look at this, what happens. For instance, black retreats to c8. Now you get the fork, you trade off the pieces. Now Stockfish suggests that you go with your knight for this pawns, but actually here you're losing this g pawn. And as I said, you should not forget about also white's potential endgame ideas. Look at this. But now, for instance, knight to f5 can happen. We pick up also the pawn on d4. Queen to e4 connects now everything together. Also not allowing some strange c5 ideas. And actually, after move c5, here again, Stockfish should suggest that the queen should somehow get into the game. As I said, this is just a crazy Stockfish line that I've analyzed at home with my Stockfish engine. This is simply too brutal, but look how crazy really chess can be. After something like queen to c7, actually after a couple more trades here, white can be even challenged in this way. Black can push now this pawn. You have to even sack the rook, and now Stockfish suggests that this is now again an equal position for both sides, which is really crazy. Of course, again, white is down a whole piece, but has now these two mobile pawns. So be my guest again. I'm not sure which position I would love to play. It's very hard, of course, to battle with the knight against the outside pass pawn. So it's one of the really, really brutal lines that I've now analyzed at home. So this wasn't played in the game. So as I said, with the move rook to f7, my Stockfish engine at home announced me that this should be a tiny little inaccurate move here by Ray Robson. Really, really crazy position. So here rook to e7 was played by Abhimanyu Mishra, trying of course to simplify the game by trading off more pieces, reaching the endgame stage, going into fully endgame stage, and then as I said, push c3 and then go with the a pawn. Simple plan. Of course, simple, yeah. Here from rook to e7, rook to f4 by Ray Robson. He understood that he should not trade off more pieces. If he trades off too many pieces, then the game is too simplified. Queen to e8, again by Abhimanyu Mishra. Again with the choice to trade off the queens, and now comes the first critical moment of this epic chess game. First of all, what Ray Robson did here, he played queen to h7, which was not a good choice, not a good move. Actually, what he should have played is really, again, a crazy move, allowing trades of pieces. Really, really wild stuff. Of course, Abhimanyu would accept that. Probably black would go with this line, then attacking simply the rook with the preparation c3, but actually with rook to d1, black has also some problems around the square c6. You can maybe get out. Rook to f7 is going to happen. Rook to e7, bishop to c6. So really, the position is simply too stretched. It's simply too tactical. Many things can go wrong. In my opinion, this was the way to go, at least for a while, for white, at least somehow to attack the position further. But here, after move queen to h7, that Ray Robson played here, Abhimanyu Mishra should have simply played the solid move knight to d5, because now you're never attacked anymore the e6 weakness. Now we can finally, I think, get out of this mess. We can maybe bring more pieces finally on some better squares, and on one of them is of course the knight on d5. Probably white would then continue with bishop to d5, but actually with e takes d5 we can also create here maybe some madness with c5, then d4, maybe creating also some madness with two mobile pawns here in the center of the board. Still, you have to defend this position for a while here on the king side, but I think this would be a good continuation here for black. Look at this. You play something like queen to g8, we get out. You're trying knight to e6, now rook to e8, protecting everything. You're playing knight to g7, takes, and now with knight to f8, you can maybe block out for a while here. As I said, this pawns that are storming, but as I said, our goal is also very dangerous. c5, d4, queen to c6 in some lines, maybe creating a queen and bishop battery. Also very dangerous to handle for white. So as I said, be my guest. I'm not sure again which position I would love to play, but as I said, this was the way to go for Abhimanyu Mishra. After move queen to h7, he should have simply played knight to d5, but he played now g6, allowing Ray Robson again to get back into the game. But Ray Robson now makes the second mistake in a row. He played now the move rook to f7. A better choice was to play knight to f7, because now the whole concept with bishop knight to d5 is not working anymore, because we can actually pick up now the knight on d5, and if you play e takes d5, then the problem is we'll simply take out this pawn on g6. In some lines we'll try also the move knight to d6, but also knight to d6 is so far not possible, but later. But we can also in some lines play a preparation to hit here with the move e6. We're trying, of course, also to push the pawn further. So it was now huge opportunity here for Ray Robson. Or you can also here try to play the move queen to g8. It's also perfectly fine. So the engine likes here really more white position, especially because their pieces are cramped. And as I said, when we take out this one is rolling. So it would be, I think, also very hard to defend this position for black. But unfortunately for Ray Robson, he played now rook to f7, and Abhimanyu Mishra played now the most spectacular move of this game. He didn't even react to this attack by Ray Robson. He played on his side of the board. As I said, we should not forget about potential endgames. We should not forget about ideas here to reach the fully endgame stage. Here, bishop to b7 by Ray Robson, king to b7, queen to g6, rook takes f7, knight takes f7. Every trade of pieces is in black's favor, because the game becomes more and more simplified. That's the position that Abhimanyu wanted to get. And now after c takes d4, this is the position. As I said, now 3 pawns are marching against this really lonely pawn on b2. In the game, queen to e4 was played, knight to d5, beautiful blockade. Of course, here knight to d6 was played by Ray Robson. Maybe here knight to g5 was slightly better, not at least trading off more pieces here. That's the issue. After move knight to d6 here, Abhimanyu Mishra says, okay, I will give up my bishop for a knight, but now I'm continuing with 2 knights with this powerful mobile structure against your rook. And it's very hard for the rook now to battle against this pawn storm that's coming. So the rooks don't like to battle against pawns, especially when the rook is in front of the pawns. If this rook would be behind the pawns, then it would be much better. But now when the pawns are coming to you, the rook has a tough time to battle against this one. So both of these knights will eventually get into the game. So from this point on, I think the game becomes a one-way ticket in black's favor. So here queen to h8 was played by Abhimanyu Mishra, connecting now the queen to the pawn, rook to d1, and now a beautiful move by Abhimanyu, knight to e5. You cannot take off, of course, the rook on d4 because you get the fork. You have to now play queen to f3. The queen gets deflected from the defense of the rook. We pick up the rook and the game is over, I think, here for white. So that's why here d7. We have knight takes d7, queen to d4, queen takes d4, rook takes d4, and you know the main idea in the beginning when Abhimanyu Mishra played b takes a4, now comes the stunner a3 or c3. As I said, depends on the position. Now a3 is more correct. Look at this. Now after move a3, b takes a3, and now the pawn is rolling. This is the way to go. Great endgame technique here by Abhimanyu Mishra. Rook to d1. Now this other knight is coming into the game. White has also his chances. As we said in the middle of this video, white has his chances, but Abhimanyu Mishra played now the perfect endgame. First of all, what he did was a spectacular move. Maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the best continuation here for black. What would you do now in this particular position? Okay, the best idea is a spectacular knight to d3. This is the way to go. Look at this. if you play here rook to d3, then c2 is coming in. There's no good way anymore to get the rook behind the pawn. The knight is controlling the c3 square. You can deliver check, but who cares? As I said, you can never reach the c3 square. You have to allow here black to the promotion on c1. The game is over here for white. So that's why for knight to d3, Robson tried h6, but now Abhimanyu Mishra played c2. The rook has to step back, and now a beautiful here blockade, first of all, by Abhimanyu, not allowing these two pawns to be flexible, to be mobile. He's controlling now the g5 square. Here Robson, of course, tries to include the king into the game. Of course, Abhimanyu takes, has now two knights, but still it gets a little bit tricky. Here after move f4, Abhimanyu played again the correct move, getting the king closer to the action. Of course, Robson is also trying to include the king into the game. Now after move g5, knight to f8, again the blockade, not allowing here some pawn movements, which could be very, very dangerous. Again, blocking out these two pawns. We have now king to g4, and now knight to d3. We have now the move f5 by Robson. Even if you try something, I don't know, g6, then knight to g6, you're trying this one, knight to f4, connects now both of these knights. It's not possible. So here, as we said, after move king to g4, king, knight to d3, f5, we have knight to e5 here by Abhimanyu Mishra. Here Robson played king to f4, and now a beautiful defensive idea, which I really like. Knight to g6. Also other moves are possible, but this is really the most attractive way. Knight to g6, sacking now the piece. We have knight takes g6. Robson is trying to get closer to the knight. Tried also here to play something on the queen side, but now after move h7, here Abhimanyu Mishra got close enough to the pawn. After move king to h6, now he played e5, and in this particular position, Robson resigned. So what can you do? Of course, you can start to play this one. We simply push. You push now this one. We sack it. You take. Now we take out this pawn, and the pawn is rolling. It's game over here for white. So with this win, Abhimanyu Mishra, the youngest player, took the lead now. He has now 2.5 points out of the first 3 games. And what the most important thing here is to say, Abhimanyu Mishra is now a 2,600 rated player. He gained now this rating with only 14 years, which is really, really crazy. So his career is going up rapidly. His career is becoming really, really unbelievable. His career is becoming really a spectacular Hollywood movie, I think. Abhimanyu Mishra is really one of the most talented players now in the chess world. In my opinion, we should follow him, what he's doing, because he can become even now the US chess champion in this year, which is really, really crazy. Spectacular defense in the beginning. You saw there were a couple inaccuracies, but I'm not sure. As I said, in every this unbalanced position, there are always inaccuracies, mistakes. You see, you have to really find the stockfish lines in order to destroy your opponent. Really, really spectacular defense. In the end, a spectacular endgame. Beautiful, beautiful play by Abhimanyu Mishra. And don't forget about this move, b takes a4. That he took the pawn, created himself an unbalanced pawn structure, but understood the concept that this game could reach maybe the end game stage, and then he could have really, really great chances. That's exactly what happened. That's what I liked about this game. He's really deep positional understanding. So great game. As I said, let's congratulate to the leader, Abhimanyu Mishra. We'll follow, of course, his continuation in this tournament. Great performance so far by the young prodigy. So okay, I hope that you like this coverage of this beautiful chess game. If you want to see some other stuff here on my YouTube chess channel, I welcome you also to check out my Common Chess Games Played by Computer series, where we analyze many great games played by Stockfish, Alpha Zero, Lila Zero, and many more. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say? Chess is the best, of course.